Hello and welcome back to War or Nothing, the number one podcast for amateur and professional boxing across the UK and beyond. I'm joined today by my co-host as usual, Mr. Brandon Anthony State.
Hello, people.
He's in a very funny mood today and has been
Very good mood.
Has been all weekend. But yeah, we are back today with numerous things going on in the boxing world.
Yep.
You've been keeping up to tabs with everything going on in the professional side of things.
Yep.
And I've been, of course, busy on more of the amateur side. I've just come back from the developments in Kettering, which was really great. Some top talent on display. Sat with many for interviews. Tommy Collins from Leicester Lightning ABC. The lads from Lions as well. Danny and Yash, who both landed themselves a position in the finals, should be very proud of their performance. Did the gym proud. So, yeah, great as always to see Kev as well. But, yeah, just reminding me just how vast the pool of amateurs and amateur talent, is across the country. And as always, just so great to be, working alongside England boxing again and back in that environment. I truly love being there and speaking with everybody. But yeah, coming back from the developments, we've also been and done a gym visit. We went to Acocks Green.
We did. In Acocks Green.
In Acocks Green. And we didn't realise, actually, we could get there quite easily by train. But we drove.
I know. I just didn't tell you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You just didn't tell me. But we could have got there by train. But judging how much, kit we took, probably driving was
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was
I didn't want to carry it all, to be honest. I knew you were going to make me do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I ain't telling.
So by the time this episode goes live, you will have seen a sit-down podcast with the one, the only Walla Ali. She is the 48 kg senior national champion and senior elite national champion, and of course the Three Nations champion as well. She was a reserve for Team GB going into the Worlds.
Yep.
So we had a brilliant conversation, talked all things, what it's like to be a champion, camp life with Team England, what's that like? Really, really funny podcast.
Got to know her a bit, didn't we? Which was quite nice.
Yeah, got to know her. She was a really, really, good sport about things. And like we say, we did the podcast, and then you'll have seen, if you've seen the podcast on our YouTube channel, there was also a short promo that we shot, which, to be honest, I was quite happy with how that went.
Yeah. Given
the time.
Yeah.
I mean, for those that don't know, I shoot videos as well, so that's a large part what I'm doing with England Boxing. I go and cover the events and shoot mini documentaries or episodes for them, and kind of wanted to do the same thing with the podcast. So turn up, give the boxer a bit of a promo, allow them to do their thing, and Walla really was up for it, and like I said, a good sport.
Yep.
And went along with it.
Really nice.
I hope I've done her justice really with the promo, but
I think you did a really good job.
Thank you.
So did everyone else that I spoke to about. They said it's pretty good.
Thank you very much. Your opinion means the most, so don't worry.
Oh, he's getting soft on me.
But yeah, Acocks Green, what a gym.
Lovely gym.
Yeah, I hadn't actually been before, but I knew of it because it's one of those gyms that, a lot of the, I think there's one just gone at the minute, a lot of tournaments and home shows are held there because this gym has, what was it, 4 rings, 5 rings? It was a lot, all right. 3 rings, okay.
3 rings.
It seemed seems
a lot more.
For anybody that hasn't been there, it's a very big gym, big space.
I'd say it's more long than big.
Yeah.
The width is quite narrow. You'd probably say maybe 2 car lengths wide, but it's quite long in terms of length.
Yeah.
So, obviously they can fit quite a lot in, just obviously long ways. So
I mean, it amazed me. At the right at the back, they've got, this is where we shot the podcast, so if you go onto YouTube, you'll see that. I'm going to keep plugging that all episode long.
Go and watch it.
Go and watch it, please. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up.
Subscribe as well.
Yes, please.
So you keep up to date with new podcasts coming up.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
But yeah, they got this kind of like show ring at the back with the really nice lighting above the ring. They've also got a bar.
They got a bar. Kitchen as well.
I don't know if I'd get any boxing done if I trained there.
Yeah, no, neither.
I'd be like, I quite like to train, but I'd also quite like a beer today.
Yeah, I don't think I could fight there because I'd be like, actually, they have beer. Yeah. I'll be all over that.
I'd be more interested in the bar, I think, but that says everything about me, and
Yeah, 2 alkies, don't we?
Yeah. But yeah, really, really great space. We went like before kind of the boxing session was on, so we went in the day, so it was quiet, so we could do the podcast and filming. And thanks as always go to the gym and Craig especially for allowing us to come in and do that. Really, really didn't have to do that. So
really nice of them to allow us to come down to film our bits that we needed for our podcast. And, really nice people over there.
Yeah,
really made us feel welcome, because obviously, I'm not going to say we're inventing the wheel here, but it's like most gyms probably run by a lot of older generation.
Yeah.
So you come in there, you go, oh, by the way, can we film this podcast with one of your fighters? Most of them probably aren't going to understand it as much as we do. So the reception that they gave us was really nice, and we give them a lot of praise for that.
And that is definitely something that happens, right? I mean, like, it's not their fault, but I do meet, a lot of kind of pushback from people who they don't really get what you're trying to do, or you tell them that you're a videographer and you want to come in and shoot a promo for the gym or something. Not, oftentimes, for free of charge, because you're trying to get someone out of it as well, right? But, a lot of the time they're like a bit suspicious. I think you're met with a bit of suspicion, like why do you want to do this, and it's and then even if you've explained this video, they go, oh yeah, this guy's here to do some photos or something like that. They don't really understand what you're doing. So it's it was refreshing, to say the least, to have somebody understand what we're trying to do and give us the space and time to kind of execute it properly. So hopefully, Craig, if you ever hear this, I'd love to come back to the gym and shoot with more e-boxers, especially Matt Williams, who like I said, I met at the NACs and followed his journey. So it'd be great to come down and do some bits with him and some of the other boxers. But I'm sure that could be put in the works. But yeah, I mean, amateur has kind of been taking over my life as of late. I've been interviewing, like I said, I was at the Kettering developments, and got to speak with some of the coaches as well, which was great.
What's that like, going to like competition and like seeing it, well, from like an outside perspective, what's that like for you to see everyone else's like kind of raw reactions? Because obviously we haven't really been to that kind of level yet as a fighter.
No, yeah.
It's like seeing it from like an outside perspective, seeing everyone's emotions on the day, the coaches, the families, the fighters.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's hard. I always say it's hard, and I laugh about it with the boxers as well after, when I sit with them for interviews and stuff. But because they always ask me, oh, what did you think? And I say, you know what, it's so hard, because as a boxing fan, I'm invested, and if I know the boxer as well beforehand, I'm kind of like half watching the bout as a fan, but then I've got to remember I'm there
to do a job,
and I'm there to film the bout. So it's a tricky one, because I'm trying to do both, and you can't really do both is the answer. But it is when I'm not filming, and you kind of sit back and say I've finished filming for the day, I'll sit back and watch like the last couple of bouts just as a spectator. It is great. Nothing quite beats a competition atmosphere, and it's always great to see when you've got a gym where, not even necessarily like a really well-known gym, but you've got a gym where you've got a boxer on, and sometimes they've got 20, 30 people in attendance, all supporting them, shouting their name, and I think it's a chance for I think it's 5 bouts you need to have entered the developments. So you think you're a 5 bouter, right?
Yeah. I
think it's 5 bouter. But you think you've had 5 bouts. You're relatively new. You're at the start of your amateur career. But you're kind of getting that superstar feel of I'm boxing in front of a crowd, and that big fight feel almost, in small doses. So it's great in that aspect. And yeah, I imagine it does loads for a boxer's confidence. And you know what? I spoke to, like I said, I interviewed some of the coaches as well, Kev and Charlie Brown Senior from Repton as well. And I was speaking with Kev specifically about this. The fact of, it's a great way of finding out your level and finding out where you're at, and do you have what it takes? Where are you in your boxing journey? And it made me laugh, actually. Kev was saying, there's nothing worse than a brave coach. If you're getting absolutely battered from pillar to post because you're a 5 bouter and you're in there with a, 17, 18 bouter or whatever, there's nothing worse than a brave coach in that scenario. Yeah. Because a boxer's not going to admit that they've had enough.
Yeah.
It's really on the coach then to be like, hang on, they're taking too much damage here. I need
to save my kid.
Yeah. But oftentimes the referees,
They will stop it.
they will stop it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there wasn't too much of that. I don't think I saw anything
No.
where it was horrendously mismatched.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been my life, amateur boxing. Like I say, yeah, been doing a bit of writing as well, and piecing together some articles. So if you're not already, go over to the Substack. I'll leave the link in the description of this, and go and check that out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, professional world,
Professional.
loads going on, loads having been gone on.
Have been on, yep.
Like I've missed, certain elements, and we've caught up today. I mean, a little preview here. We've got Conway, Liddard.
Yep, great fight.
Let's just start with Conway, Liddard, because I had a funny moment with this. Like, I've been keeping up to tabs with like bits going on around the fights and whatnot when I can. Oftentimes when I'm in the car driving, and that being, the Matchroom podcast. Which, for the love of God, if anybody that ever produces that podcast listens to this podcast by chance,
Hire us, for
please just make it a little bit louder for the Spotify crowd, because that's how I consume that podcast, right?
Yep.
And I mean, maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew here, because maybe someone will come after us for our production value, but but it's done in their studio, right? And they take bits and bobs from around. It's not all just done in the studio. They take bits and bobs from around, like interviews from around, like press weeks and whatnot. But it's just wherever. I mean, I think it sounds okay on YouTube, but whatever. I think it's a compression with the sound or something. But it's so quiet. I have to dial up full blast in the car just to hear what Jamie is saying. And
yeah, Jamie.
I want to hear what's going on, guys. I want to hear the show. But yeah, like I said, I was just listening to that, and then the Conway Liddard, pre-fight trash talk was so bad. So bad. Now, we just watched something here today where Conway was saying, like, this is not his bag. He doesn't like talking.
Yep.
He hates this type of thing.
Yeah,
and that's fair enough, earlier boxers.
Not everyone's going to be able to, talk as confidently as others. It's like, I don't think we're the most confident talking to others.
Hey, speak for yourself, man.
Okay, just me then. But it's like, I think trash talk comes natural to other people.
Yeah.
Just like certain stuff in boxing comes natural to other people.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you try and force something that isn't there, it can make it look a lot worse.
It was.
Than if they just went, oh yeah, it's going to be a good fight, this and that. If they were kind of a little bit more civil, I think it would have been all right. But because they were kind of trying to go, yeah, you know what, this confidence thing, but no, mate, the confidence always been there. You're like, oh.
I was cringing, I'm not gonna lie, and you know what, like, it's not all their fault, because they are positioned in a way by the media where they're kind of like shoved into this tiny little like thing where they've almost got to, like,
they've got to kind of hate each other.
They've got to do something to sell the fight, but it was just so awkward and so bad. Like, I was listening to it as I was driving somewhere, and I was thinking, oh, just please stop talking. Please. When you hear somebody talking, you just think, just stop now. Like, stop at this point.
Yeah.
Don't say anything else.
That's enough.
And you've done enough, but they keep going, and it's like, oh no.
Just digging yourself a bigger hole there.
So yeah, the trash talk definitely did not live up to the hype. But the fight itself.
Yep, the fight itself was very good.
Seemed like, fireworks.
Yeah, it was a good fight. 11 rounds altogether. It was the furthest Liddard has been in a fight, to what I'm aware of. I might be wrong on there. Don't fact check me. But yeah, very, very good performance by Liddard. Really showed level in there, I think. Don't know if Conway was just having an off night or what, but it just looked like he couldn't really find his momentum at times. It's like he would pick pop shots here and there. He was landing some really good hooks in, uppercuts, but then it's just like he would sit back, get teed off on a little bit, and then would do exactly the same thing again. Then obviously Liddard started picking up on that, started defending a lot better, then really capitalising on counter-attacks and working on the inside. But yeah, really good fight. And then it was the 10th or 9th round where Conway's hand seemed to have gone. It was his lead hand, so his left hand seemed to have gone. Shut down on the ropes, and I kind of explained it to you a little bit, because you said yourself that it looked a bit weird. And I said, well, technically he didn't touch the canvas at any times. So technically the ref has no obligation to step in and go, okay, I'm going to give you a count here. So, it's one of those where it's a weird scenario where he was at and how he tried to stop the fight, but obviously then he started turning around, which then the ref kind of jumped in between him about that. But that seemed to cause him a lot of issues, and obviously 11th round kept going, couldn't really defend himself a lot. Now his hands were dropping a lot lower, couldn't really parry shots, catch shots like that, so he was getting teed off on quite a lot. And then obviously the corner towel came in. What was you going to say?
I was just going to say, it was eventually like the body language of somebody that kind of looked done. Like he knew someone was wrong. I haven't read anything about it, so I still don't quite know the issue with the hand. Was it but to me it was like, it wasn't he'd had enough. It was like something had gone wrong, like injury or something. But yeah, I mean, leading up to that point, it looked like a bit of a lively fight. And the comment you made earlier about your call, they'd really gone to town with that and done it up. It looked really nice, actually.
Yeah, it's like, this is no offense to any other promotional company out there, Box Nation, Queensbury, Boxer, any of those, if I ever turn over, please sign me. But yeah, no, Matchroom, I think they just made it look a lot nicer, kind of spruced up the place, put some nice LED signs around, had the names moving around, just made it kind of look a lot more modernish in a way. Obviously, York Hall is quite old now, classic venue over here in the UK for those listening abroad. But yeah, they really made it look kind of, they spruced it up a lot, and I think it looked really nice, and I think it's a great venue for that kind of, that 10 to 20 range in fights where, you're still kind of a prospect going into contender, where it's like, actually you need that kind of pressure, because you've got to imagine, York Hall isn't the biggest arena. You can fit, maybe a couple of thousand in there, but they're all right on top of you. And it's like, I remember for my second unlicensed fight, it was at the Chapel ground, and I'm not kidding you, there was maybe 600, 700 people in there, but because it was quite small, it goes up.
Yeah. So
you've just got about 600 people just standing literally right on top, and you feel like they're right there.
Is it worse for people looking down on you?
Yeah. I got quite nervous about it, because it's like, I'd never done anything like that.
Yeah.
So being in there and then getting into the ring and looking up, and all of a sudden everywhere I'm looking, there's just people looking down. There's people looking up at you from the floor. You're thinking, oh man. So obviously your call's kind of similar to that. So I think it's a good test to go, look, if you're ready, can you deal with the pressure? Because it's like, if the fans wanted to, they could storm that ring so easily.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, good thing this isn't like a football ground where like you get streakers coming in, because that would be the worst place to have it. But
yeah,
I think it was a really good fight, really good test to see where Liddard is, where Conway is, and I think they both got good futures ahead of them if they keep continuing.
Yeah. I mean, it was that thing of like Liddard being the young up and coming challenger, and
Conway being the kind of like older, respectable.
Yeah. It was like, it's kind of a cool dynamic in that sense. They should have steered more into that, really. But yeah. Elsewhere in the boxing world, Wardley versus Parker, or Parker versus Wardley, whichever way you want to spin it.
Versus Fabio Wardley, which happened 2 days ago as of recording this podcast. Probably won't be 2 days ago as you are listening to it.
No.
But yeah, so it's 27th. So 25th of October was the date.
Yes.
Was scheduled for 12 rounds, went 11. Quite, I'm not going to say disappointed in the outcome, but I am. I've spoken to a couple of people about this. I don't think it was right on the call of the ref at the end, but we'll get back into that in a minute. Started off really well. Joseph Parker, I think he had a good game plan, used the jab a lot more, used that lead left hook, as Fabio Wardley kind of tends to rotate his body every time he steps back to defend shots. He will kind of turn his body and he'll tuck his head down into his chest, but he'll keep his hands quite low. So obviously that lead left hook played a very big part in those early rounds. Joseph Parker, I think, has one of the best jabs in the heavyweight division as of today. And I think that really helped him going forward in that fight. The straight shots were working a lot, and I think, Fabio Wardley looked, I'm not going to say green, because obviously he's not green, but you could see the skill level in having the amateur fights, having the more experience from Joseph Parker, whereas Fabio Wardley looked a bit kind of rushed at times, was rushing in, was very sloppy with how he was defending shots, how he was throwing shots, and I think, there was times he was throwing the one-off shot, like the rear uppercut, the lead uppercut was working a lot for Fabio Wardley, because Joseph Parker was kind of leaning in as he was defending, kind of crouching down, leaning in type of way, and then rolling off. But another good thing Joseph Parker was doing is he was moving to Fabio Wardley's left, Joe Parker's right, to get away from Fabio Wardley's backhand, which obviously you've got to give credit to Fabio Wardley for going, by the way, this man has incredibly powerful punches for someone of Joseph Parker's stature to go, actually, don't want to get hit by that. And you've got to give credit to Andy Lee and that team, George Lockhart, all those people on Joseph Parker's side to go, look, you've come up with an amazing game plan here and you've trained him really well, because to be honest, like, they were catching each other quite a lot, but in my opinion, which obviously is the correct and only opinion that should be allowed ever, I think Joseph Parker was winning that fight very, very comfortably at times. And it was, obviously, they both got tired. Joe Parker came in, I think, 260 pounds, where Fabio came in, I think, 240, maybe 230. So the weight advantage did go to Joseph Parker, but I think it really kind of gassed him out in that 6th, 7th round. I knew he kind of took the 8th round off, which I think kind of led to that kind of downfall and made it a bit more scrappy. But yeah. Did you catch any of the fight? Obviously, we watched the highlights earlier, which didn't.
I mean, yeah, just that, and then everything surrounded the stoppage. I mean, it wasn't a fight that particularly excited me, and I'm sure there's people that are going to be like, "Oh, are you even a boxing fan?" But it didn't really particularly excite me, get going into it. But in the build-up, but I agree. I think the stoppage was, when there's a call for, there's some sort of controversy around a fight, it's like, I always immediately go into it. But I go into it and I'm like, okay, let's just get swept up with everything. Let's just take a non-biased look at this and really see what's going on. And to me, yeah, I think I said to you, had that come earlier on in the fight, 6th round, 7th round, I'd have been less annoyed with that. Yep. With it being so late in the fight, and with the stakes of the fight, it's a bit like, come on, man, let the guy go out on his field. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? In that scenario, it's a very sort of, and I will say this, I've seen a list of fights
that Howard Foster has refereed
and been had a controversial.
It's not the best
ending. So not a great look for Mr. Foster there, but
I personally will advocate for having his license taken away.
Wow, that's a strong position.
I think a lot of people will agree with me online and in the boxing world, because he's done it a couple of times where he stopped fights early. There's been controversial stoppages, stuff like that from him. So I think we just can't allow it, to be honest, because you've got to think about it. Joseph Parker, he's getting on a bit. Come on, let's not be silly now. He's getting on a bit. I don't see him being in the sport for that much longer. I think maybe the next 2-3 years, and I think he will retire. Just kind of like most heavyweights nowadays. But it's like, realistically, he had a world opportunity in February against Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois pulled out for apparently a cold, if I can remember, which is absolute bollocks, Daniel. And then all of a sudden the Usyk fight gets made, like a couple of months later, which I think was May, I want to say. May, June, July. When was that?
I'm sure we'll have to find out, but yeah.
Yeah, May, June, July-ish for that then Usyk 2 fight with Dubois. But Joseph Parker was robbed of a world title opportunity, which he had rightfully earned. And obviously then he fought Visioli on literally like a day's notice. Visioli came in fat and hippo-ish, so obviously that wasn't going to be a good fight either way. But then it's like, instead of just straight away getting the opportunity to then fight for Usyk Queensberry, which, by the way, I'm a little bit annoyed about, with Frank Warren, then going, okay, let's put him in with a hungry top 15 heavyweight and go, yeah, here you go. Instead of your world title opportunity, how about we put that on the line and go, look, defend your interim belt. You probably won't get another shot at world title level. So yeah, good luck. Let's say it's Tyson Fury. Yeah, he comes back now. Let's say he has a couple of warm-up fights. Let's say he beats AJ, beats maybe an Otto Wall in 2 or something, I don't know, or a Jarrell Miller or an Andy Ruiz. I would like to see that fight personally. Let's say he beats those 2. He's IBF interim. And then all of a sudden, Frank Warren goes, actually, no, you've got to face Moses Satama. Do you think he's going to do that with Fury? No, absolutely not. So I think Joseph Park has been absolutely cocked by Queensbury, by them lot, and by Usyk as well. So yeah, I'm not too pleased. I'm a big Joseph Parker fan, so for me, it hasn't been a great weekend in terms of fighting. I've had a good weekend, but in terms of fighting, all my picks this weekend down the drain.
Yeah, good job. You're not a betting man.
Oh no, I am. I'm now bankrupt.
Okay.
I owe them my house now. I don't even live there.
If any potential sponsors are listening,
yes, Betfred, William Hill, we are open to that.
Yeah, but like I said, pro boxing has not really been my priority for the last week or so. But having said that, a couple of fights that did, I did kind of enjoy seeing the results of were Royston Barney-Smith had a very good fight against Daddy Quartermain. And we just kind of went back over some of the highlights today. That check hook that he dropped him with, incredible.
Yep.
Very, very sharp boxer. Looks like very well. I think he's. Let's just take a quick look at his record here. Yeah, 15-0 professional, 2 times European champion, 1-time Europe bronze medalist, 2 times national champion, 3 times international. I mean, that's some serious pedigree.
That is a pedigree.
And he's got all the sharpness and cuteness of somebody with that type of background as well. So, that was good to see. Elsewhere as well, there was, of course, is it Tony Curtis Smith Jr., I think, or Tony Curtis Jr., Lightning Jr., who is trained by Roy Jones Jr. And I know he has bits to do with Archie Sharp as well. He paid a lovely tribute to Ricky Hatton, wearing the same shorts. He had them designed by, not Susie Wong, actually. I can't remember the name of the company now, but it was interesting. I did kind of click through and have a look, but it was a different company that did his custom fight shorts, because a lot of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's Susie Wong, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, of course it is. I think my fight shorts are
Susie Wong, same. Can't go wrong.
Sponsors as
well. He was wearing the same shorts as Ricky Hatton, and then Roy Jones Jr. was wearing a Ricky Hatton t-shirt.
He was. Yeah, the whole corner team were wearing a Ricky Hatton.
But I don't know. I haven't looked too much into that, so I presume that Hatton had something to do with Tony Curtis Jr.
Yeah,
I presume so. But that's kind of made headlines as well. Elsewhere, I mean, we are sat down and we have the Eubank Jr. Conor Ben first fight going on quietly in the background there. Ahead of the fast approaching rematch, and Ben had a media day at the gym where all the top rated media heads got access to go in, and
where was our invite, guys?
I know,
appreciate that.
I know. But Mo, who I know, well, I say no, I know him online, but I love his work, and I think I mention him every single podcast. Mo, I need to check in the post here, mate. But he was there getting some nice photos, and Ben shared some on his story, and he looks in some shape. I mean, when
he does
not
look
really,
it's rare. So when is he not in shape?
It's rare you see him out of shape. But just gets you that a little bit more excited for the fight when you see.
Yeah.
He looks vicious.
Yep.
He looks.
He's looking good, but. Also, Eubank is looking in incredible shape and seems to be taking... I don't want to say he didn't take the last camp as serious, but I think he's taking this camp a lot more serious, and I think that's down to, who he's got there in camp, as he has switched coaches again, I should say, to Brian Bomack, who recently has just come off a win with Terence Crawford over Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
Also helped Eubank get the win over Liam Smith 2 back in Manchester a couple of years ago. I remember watching that live. That was a good fight. And I think, I think we're going to see a different Eubank. I don't think we will see as kind of timid Eubank to start off. I think we're going to see a very much more clinical kind of boxing style from Eubank, where it's not going to be rushed, a lot of uppercut hooks thrown in there. And I think they are going to try and knock Ben out. I generally think they believe it.
You think they're going to go for it, yeah?
Yeah. I generally think they will, because I think Bomac won't tolerate anything less, to be honest, because it's like, really, I think there was times in that first fight where Eubank did have Ben hurt with the uppercuts, those lead hooks, stuff like that, and he just didn't capitalise on it. So I think this time round, especially the way that we saw him in the Liam Smith 2 rematch, where he literally was on that front foot, was really putting in some powerful shots. I don't think this fight goes the distance. I think either Conor Benn gets the win by knockout or Eubank Jr. will get the win by knockout.
Be interesting to see. I mean, I'm already kind of loving all the build-up, so yeah. Another fight I'm very much looking forward to is the Whittaker upcoming Birmingham fight, which I'm desperately trying to get us on the press / media list for. So,
yeah, Ben, it's your boy here. Hook us up.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks. But hopefully we can get there and get amongst it. The tickets are gone on sale today, actually.
Yeah.
I meant to mention, so we need to have a look at that. But
do you know also is out? The podcast with
Walla Ali.
Walla Ali. So go listen. It is out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube.
Yep.
If you go over to YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment what you think about the podcast.
And share it as well, please.
Yeah, share it. Turn on the bell for notifications so you do not miss a upload.
I am in the process of creating the podcast's own Instagram page as well, so we can share a bit more, because I have an Instagram page right now, but it's more for my videography business.
More private.
It would be nice to have a kind of a separate account where we can post all things related to the podcast, especially the video content that we do and any extras.
Yep.
Like I did a couple of bits, and I think we're going to go back and potentially do some day in the lives with some very interesting amateur boxers. So those will be on YouTube, and of course, like I said, if we set up an Instagram page and across Instagram as well. So yeah, keep an ear out for any news on that one. Just circling back to amateur boxing for a second here. I'd already mentioned this to you, but I had a very interesting thing the other day. Giorgio Visioli, very accomplished amateur, now doing bits in the pro ranks, but he is
your best friend, apparently.
He's my best friend right now. No, he did this thing that with many fighters, I'm sure they're media trained to do this, but Q&A on Instagram. Dave Allen does them all the time.
Oh, that man's always doing a Q.
He's never once answered my questions on Instagram, but he did answer. I forgot to mention this. He did answer me on a live stream on YouTube. I asked him about ice cream sandwiches, and he said they're the best thing ever.
I generally, in my head, I'm thinking, what questions would Luke ask Dave Allen?
Yeah.
And straight away, it would be, I instantly just went, yeah, it's going to be something about food. Be like,
yeah, of course.
Why is your diet so shit? Or something like I wonder he's not answering you, because you're just slaving the man.
I asked him about ice cream sandwiches, then I asked him about the time that he almost knocked me out with his elbow at the Matchroom 5K, and he skipped over that one. So I'm like, try not to get the lawsuit, is he? I'm not going to sue you, Dave, don't worry. But yeah, he did. Giorgio Visioli did. That's so fast. Giorgio Visioli did a Q&A on Instagram, and I asked him, word for word here, what is your biggest learning from your amateur days? And he said, he replied to me in the DMs, not worrying if I lost in a fight because I knew it would make me better in the future. Always. Keep working and keep your head up if things ain't going your way. And I thought that was really
it's really nice of him to do.
A really well constructed answer, and it makes sense. Like he looks like from his amateur background, like he isn't somebody that shied away from a fight, and still isn't somebody that shies away from the fight, even in the pro ranks. He's actually been in talks, I think, about a potential matchup with Joe is it Howard? I say this wrong all the time. Howarth, Dave Allen's fighter that was on the undercard the other week.
Oh yeah.
So
Joe Howarth, I think.
Howarth, yeah. So we could see those two mixing it in the future.
Yeah.
I think somebody asked him again on the Q&A about that, and he just put the eyes emoji, which is typical, like boxer speak for yes, that's happening, or it's definitely in talks. So that will be a very interesting matchup if it comes about. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
There's things going on with Dave Allen's being Dave Allen.
Yeah.
He had that really funny, like, it felt like we're getting and loads of people in the comments on this one on YouTube talked about this. It was an IFL TV kind of interview, but really it was just Eddie Hearn and Dave Allen having a private business meeting live for all to see.
Coombs was just there, just like, I'll take this.
Yeah, the general sentiment was Dave Allen was asking Eddie.
He wanted to get on the Ben Whittaker card, didn't he? He said he wanted to fight in November. And then Eddie's like, look, what we've got here is special. You're still a draw. People still want to see you. We can easily sell out Sheffield again.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, you just got to relax a little bit now. Trust us. Yeah, in trying to build you back up, which they've done a good job building other people back up. So I wouldn't have a problem with that. But obviously, Dave Allen is Dave Allen, and he just wants to scrap.
The thing is, Hearn made, as much as I always look to disagree with Hearn on things like this, he made, especially where Dave Allen's concerned, because there's that whole thing with those two, isn't there? But he made some very solid points. He was like, look, you've just had a 12-round war. Like, rest. I want you to rest. And also, he was saying, like, Dave Allen's doing the classic thing that all fighters who lose a fight do, and they want to be back in the gym on the Monday. Yeah. They want to have a fight the week after because they want to put the wrongs right. Yeah. And that is just a natural thing for a fighter to want to do. And so I think there is an element of that with Dave, and he wants to kind of if he thinks maybe he's lost the public interest or something, he wants to win it back. But yeah, Dave is being Dave on social media. He referred to himself as the Blackburn Rovers of boxing. So I thought that was such a fantastic analogy. But yeah, funny things. The Shalom thing we haven't talked about yet, and maybe we'll end on this one. But the moving of the date with the Jamie TKV, Fraser Clark to they've moved it, and you reckon this is the BBC actually, but for those that don't know, it's moved to the exact date of the Ben Whittaker fight in Birmingham, which is November the 29th, isn't it? I believe. I could have got that really wrong.
I want to say 15th.
No, it's November 29th. I'm right. Of course I'm right.
Cool,
Whittaker versus Gavazi in Birmingham at the NEC. But yeah, they've moved.
Yeah, so they've moved that
to the exact same date.
Fight to then. But it was originally meant for last Saturday, the 25th.
Yeah.
Which obviously we all know now is the Joseph Parker Wardley fight.
What was the reason they gave?
So apparently Fraser Clark, obviously when we went to Acocks Green the other day, we were listening to the poddy about it, and he came on and he said, look, basically doctor came out and said he's got a problem with his ribs or something, and he can't fight next week, but he can return to training literally a couple of days after the fight was meant to happen, which from Fraser Clark's point of view, you can kind of get the kind of question marks going, because it's if he can't fight but he can return to training 2 days after the fight was supposed to happen, realistically, what's going on? Fraser Clark thinks it's just because what's his name, Ben Davidson wasn't going to be able to be in his corner, because obviously being with Fabio Wardley, and obviously the B team coaches, in no offence to anyone. So yeah, I think that's what Fraser Clark thinks is the problem.
Yeah.
But it's moved from that date now to the 29th, which is when Ben Whittaker is making his it's not his first main event. He's making his debut for Matchroom.
Yeah. Which
is crazy. And they've decided to move it to that date, which makes absolutely no sense. But I kind of hinted at this earlier when we were talking in Tesco Calf. I think it's the BBC trying to see if Boxer can compete with Matchroom Queensbury.
Yeah.
Think about it. First event was a Queensbury event. Obviously, they've had to push it back. And now it's a Matchroom event. Obviously, the Sky Sports deal ended with Boxer. Obviously, they've gone to BBC, but you've got to think BBC probably isn't going to put that much money into it if it doesn't do very well. So I think it's their way of seeing if these people are a draw.
Yeah.
Because you've got to imagine Fraser Clark, T, Jamie TKV, all these Fran Hennessy, all these boxers, they're probably going, look, we want this much money.
Yeah.
And obviously Boxer gets that from BBC as well as
Mm.
this stuff. So you've got to imagine there's a bit of money coming in. But if they're asking a bit too much, BBC are going to go, look, if they do well, and let's say this show gets 200 concurrent viewers, well, 200,000 concurrent viewers, let's say, then we'll keep going at the same time, and, you know, we'll start setting up more dates.
Yeah.
But I think if it does less than maybe 100,000 concurrent viewers at a time,
Yeah.
I think BBC are going to go, yeah, this ain't going to work.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the Boxer deal will be no more, and I think there will be a merger.
Mm.
I think Queensberry or Matchroom will buy Boxer.
Queensberry probably, I imagine. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that one shapes up. I immediately saw that and I thought that is some top tier shithousery from Ben Shalom. But
I don't think it's Ben Shalom. I generally think it's just I think it's just BBC. Yes, the BBC's never done anything wrong, have they?
Yeah, well, it's true. They are known for it. But
thing in a job there.
But yeah, as we said, plenty going on. And I think I'm going to be more kind of up to date with the pro side of things now that work is quieting down for a week or two, which is I'm thankful for. I'm just sort of home based doing edits, so yeah, I'll be able to keep an eye on the pro boxing scene as well. But hopefully back out, you know, doing another gym visit soon. If you are an amateur boxer or an amateur boxing gym and you'd like to be featured on the podcast, then drop us a line. I'll leave the correct email in the description below. And yeah, we're really going to take this on the road this year. I'll say this year, the end of this year and the start of next. We're really going to get on the road, travel the country across all the amateur boxing gyms that we can, speak with all the top amateur talent, and really give the amateur scene a push. So if you do want to be involved, please do drop us a message, and we'll be happy to arrange a visit. So, so yeah. From us here at War or Nothing, thanks as always for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. That will really help the channel grow. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.